Happy Singles Appreciation Day. For Valentine's, I decided I'd combine the three things I love the most: bacon, burgers, and booze. Okay, so to start this dish, we're gonna set a saucepan on medium to medium-high heat. I'm gonna throw in about 8 ounces of bacon, chopped up. We're gonna let that simmer, reduce down. While the bacon's cooking, we're gonna dice an onion. Get that good and ready for the next step. Alright, that's it for the onion. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, then we'll get back to this bacon. I'm going to get that good and rendered down. I'm going to stir up those pieces. Stir it occasionally. Obviously, you don't want it to burn, and you don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. Normally, I try to use like the peppered bacon that they have at the butcher block. Doesn't seem to render as much grease. I don't know if it's because of the pepper or the smoking process in it or what, but this, I just went with the standard bacon and it is rendering a lot of grease. So I'm actually going to dump some of this grease out. Normally I wouldn't. Like I said, this depends on how fatty the bacon is. This time apparently I got really fatty bacon. So you want to keep a little bit of bacon grease in there. I mean, here I got probably got a half a cup of just bacon fat in there. So I'm gonna definitely get rid of some of that. But the bacon's starting to brown, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some of that grease out of it, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, basically you only want about 2-3 tablespoons of bacon grease in there. To that we're going to throw in our onion. Stir that up. We want that to reduce down. Give it a couple minutes to get started. Okay, after a few minutes, you want to add one large minced shallot to that. Also going to add 2 cloves of garlic, minced garlic. Stir that fairly frequently too. You don't want it to burn. Basically, just want it caramelized. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes into this, and we want to throw in our, basically we have salt, pepper, and thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of each. And let that cook into that. So I'm going to give that a couple more minutes to caramelize and reduce down. Definitely smell the thyme in that. This is smelling amazing already. So once we get that once we get the onion translucent and starting to brown a little bit, we'll move on to the next step, which is basically we want to throw in 1/4 teaspoon of brown sugar and a quarter cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Get that stirred in there. Get good and creamy. I'm actually going to turn this down to about medium, right at medium. Alright. To that, we're going to add the bourbon, 1 cup of bourbon. I suggest if you have a gas stove, you turn the heat off before you pour that in there. Otherwise you got what the French call flambé. You don't want that in your kitchen. Alright, we're also going to add a tablespoon of yellow mustard. Don't do it like that. Okay, that is simmering. That is boiling really good. So I am actually going to reduce that heat down to, basically reduce that down to simmer. We're just going to drop that down low and we're going to simmer that, and it's going to take some time, but basically eventually this will completely reduce down to a jam consistency, and then we're going to put that on the burger. So I'm going to let that go and I'll get back with you when it looks more like what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, I wanted to come back on and let you guys know that I did turn this back up to about a medium low because it stopped boiling. You do want it to continue to boil. So I got this to basically about a 3, medium low. But we're just going to let that slow boil, slow simmer till all that goodness comes together and thickens up into basically a jam consistency. Now, there's several different bourbons out there, and you know, every single manufacturer of bourbon has a different taste. I've tried this with Jim Beam, didn't really care for it. The one that I found for inexpensive that has a good smooth flavor that goes good with this is called Ancient Age, and I'm not promoting anybody, I'm just making a suggestion. That is a good one for cooking, and I'll be doing more with bourbon as well. I got a bourbon chicken recipe that I'm going to make as well. If you never cooked with bourbon, oh my god, it makes the food just taste outstanding, just out of this world. Alright, so we're about a half hour into this, so I just want to let you guys know to give yourself time. You want to give yourselves about an hour before, hour to hour and a half before dinner time with this recipe, because it does take time. Probably takes about an hour just for this jam. So you want to slow simmer it. Alright, so we are right about where I want to be with the consistency on this jam. You can see there. And looks amazing, smells amazing, and alright, so now that we've got the topping ready, let's get this burger going. What I have there is a half-pound prime rib patty. Season up with some salt. This is a rosemary smoked salt. Also want to use some pickled pepper on there as well. Got my pan preheating while I'm preparing this patty. So basically, just want to get that side, and we just throw that in the pan. Alright, we see where the patty's starting to brown up the side. Let's put that over. Oh, perfect. So this burger's just about done. I'm going to take and throw a couple slices of smoked Gouda on it. Okay, so what I have here is a brioche bun that I've lightly toasted. I'm going to start with, on the bottom, and put some lettuce on there. Now I will say I'm not a big fan of lettuce, and if I have to use lettuce on a burger, my favorite is a butter lettuce. It's just got a different flavor than the rest of lettuces, and it just works. It tastes good. So with that, we're going to throw that patty on top. And then we are going to take the star of the show, that bourbon bacon jam. We are going to throw that generously on the top of that burger. And that is it. That's all this burger needs right there. There's more flavor in there than you can possibly imagine. So there you have it, bourbon bacon jam. I put mine on a burger. Goes great on burgers, but you can also use it as a dip. If you wanted to use it as a dip, basically you would let it cool down. You want to blend it up in a food processor till it's a lot finer, and throw it in a dish. You can use it for dips, for soup bowl, or whatever. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. Also, if you want to try it for yourself, recipes will be in my description down below. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you again.